I hope so. I would hope that my 100-year plan kind of encompasses a world peace agenda. I think the better way for me to address the question is to say, what are the issues that have caused war and moved us away from peace, if you look back at history? And I would say that they're broadly twofold. One is commodities, scarcity of resources. And number two is differences in ideological perspective. Now, I say these things in not as a simplistic way as perhaps it may come across on a camera. I say these as very fundamental sources of the reason, or sources of conflicts, but also the reason we have not yet achieved world peace. But I also say them as an optimist, because I do think that in identifying these two pillars or sources of conflict, you could argue that we can therefore find a solution that's very permanent and where everyone participates, that can actually move us away from conflict and towards an ideal of world peace. There's lots of evidence that even today there are numerous clashes going on around the world that have, at least 20, have their origins in commodity scarcity. If you look ahead into 2050, there'll be more of those, not less, as there's more demand coming from greater population, but also increasing wealth, particularly from the emerging markets. But if you contrast that with supply constraints of land and water and energy and minerals, you can see where the conflicts are coming from. Similarly, whether it's the rise of Islam, or I should say, obviously Islam is an age-old religion, but the rise of Islam as a much more powerful religion across many other regions of the world, and how that plays out with other religions is obviously a big question. And so ideologically, whether it's religious issues, cultural differences, aspects of approach to political versus economic policy, those types of ideological differences, I think, are a lot of source of consternation. But at the same time, given that we know that a priori, we should be able to come up with a more cohesive approach, a much more clear dialogue in figuring out how to address these issues.